Hey everybody, Ben here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up for yourself each and every day. So if you're here from the short, you already have a backstory. If not, our word was, what was it? Misplaced. And this is coming through thoughts about ourselves, others. We are, in essence, projecting, and not always a bad way, and not always a good way. It can go either way, but at the end of the day, it leads to a truth. Whether we invested our trust in someone and they misled us, misguided us. It was for them and not us. Same thing if we judged or assumed something about someone. Our supporting angel number card goes into learning, knowledge. It's mind mastery. Goes into your knowledge is growing, expand your mind, wisdom, studies, higher education. How else would we learn unless we experience something? Let's start with the positive aspect. Let's say I'm a really honest person. Naturally, projection would work, that I would be projecting that onto others. Well, I'm a good person. I would never do that, so why would they? And that projection we can deem as a positive experience, but really it could be saw as a negative experience because we placed that trust in others and they let us down, they broke it, they did us wrong, however it works. Same thing with the thief. The thief thinks everyone is stealing or going to steal from them because they do. So this is something we hold inside and we project it out onto others. Same thing with assuming and judgment. We think it's the other person, but it's something we can hold inside as well. Ask yourself right now. I mean, we all do this, but what are you projecting onto me? It is probably something that we are that we want, like a positive experience, or we can look at it as a negative experience and something that we don't have and we're a bit jealous of. I'm not saying that I'm special. What I'm saying is that we all are projecting at all times. And this is, it's really us, like inside, and we see it as the external versus internal. Again, this can be positive or negative. It doesn't matter. There's a truth behind it. And honestly, there's a lot of knowledge in there. And sure, we can place it, knowledge of other people, but also of ourselves, where we want to heal or move forward, what we truly want, what is holding us back, and also things we need to heal inside here if we're in that aspect of I'm projecting my trust out onto everyone and they're taking advantage of me, and I'm assuming why is it all these people mean or bad or hurtful when really I need to work on some boundaries there. Could also look at that envious or jealous aspect that all these people have all these things, but really deep down inside I don't feel strong or good enough or confident enough to achieve something like that. Projection is an amazing tool, and it's not really to fuck with people's minds. I mean, people do it that way, but it's more or less I'm using it as a tool to learn about ourselves, where we're holding ourselves back, what we actually want in life, and things we need to heal that may be holding us back, as well as, protection in general. When we learn to know ourselves and people project onto us, we would take ownership of things that they are, whether verbally saying or, energetically sending to knock you down. And then if we take ownership of that, uh, we would start to identify with it and go down a different path of something that we truly aren't. We can look at that as like an empath, a psychic or not. It is picking up those energies that others are bouncing around all over the place, which are their own struggles, insecurities, wounds, however we want to look at that. Could also look just, very basic terms of being in relationships and saying you're the problem when really they are projecting their troubles onto you to not deal with it. This is a huge aspect of our life that we really don't, I don't know how many people really focus on it, I guess I should say. But in your waking life, if every thought and interaction are you processing to that extent to really get to know yourself, to understand what is yours, what isn't yours, what you're carrying, what you're sending out, and what may be holding you back or not. So, uh, this can be every emotion in the book, every insecurity, fear, trauma, wound that we could imagine would be taking place through this process. Uh, and if you're still here, we'll see what's going on. The magician, manifesting. This is controlling this energy. As I said before, this could be used in a very negative sense, but it can be used in a very positive sense. I'm here not to teach or inform or direct people in a negative sense, but as I explained before, in a very positive sense, oh, we can really focus inward here and look at what's going on here. What am I doing with my energy, my thoughts, my emotions? Is it, where's it going? And let's dig under and see why I'm thinking that way, like that jealousy aspect. Why am I jealous of this person? Why am I judging this person? Through that, there's something that I want there that I feel like I can't have, that they're better than me, that they can have it. Why did they have it? Why don't I have it? And through that, we have to dig a little bit there, but let's see why. And if we really pay attention, I'm always judging this person for that, or I'm always envious of this. Why? Because I probably really want it and I don't feel like I can get it because X, Y, or Z. And we can dive a bit deeper and find out why we don't think we can get there or do that. The very positive aspect is that transformation, the alchemy. We're looking at it as a negative trait, a wound, a trauma, a fear, an insecurity that we cover up and we put it on other people versus it actually being something we're holding. And when we flip that coin, we transform that, we can bring that into our reality through the process. I feel very shaky or jumpy right now. The lovers, partnership. This isn't just in the external. This is really focusing more internal. This is, we deem all these negative aspects that they'll say in psychology of all the personality traits, and I got this condition or that condition, and everybody's got something. Uh, Technically, I personally believe we all have a little bit of everything. It just depends what side of the swing we are on, which means uh, that person that's deemed a really, really bad person, it could change, but they're probably a bit too far gone there. But who wants any of that? If someone called you a narcissist, for fact, we would run from that. But if we all hold a little bit of that trait in us, and when we have those thoughts or those feelings, we banish it away. This is this transformation aspect. We all hold every aspect. How could we not? It just depends what we're directing or what mask we're wearing or however we're trying to portray ourselves. This isn't to create fear or worry and I'm going to push this away and yada, yada, yada. We've all had negative thoughts. You can't tell me you haven't, once or twice before about other people. Uh, the fact that we run from it, we want to be seen in a certain light. That's a mask. How can we not be honest with ourselves? But let's go back to just that judging and that jealousy aspect. Something somebody has, I want. It's very simple. And that is motivation. That is energy. And we can use that to get that. And not in a malicious way. It is digging deep and finding out why we think we can't have that. And I don't want to say that it has anything to do with money. It's not material. It's internal. It's our belief of self. Queen of Wands, charismatic, this swing, this energetic signature. Maybe that's a big thing. People can just walk into a room and they are it. They're not doing anything different. They are balanced. They are energetic. They are in a place of authenticity. And that triggers a lot of people. We're talking about projection here. Everybody's going to project onto them. It'll shake their little demons inside, their shadows, whatever it is. The truth has to be true around these people. Otherwise, it will be exposed. Uh, Getting to that place is, in essence, not trying. When we really think about life, how often are we presenting ourselves in a way to be seen in a certain way that we want them to see us? Uh, Often, the harder we try to do that, the further away it goes. I've often used the analogy of it's being a group, a circle. How do I want to say this? My words are all jumbled. being in a circle of friends, back in grade school, and let's say we're really paranoid about being awkward in that circle, and we're like walking into it, and we're in that circle, and the more I try not to be awkward, the more awkward I get. And then, it's proven to me that I am awkward because I'm trying so hard not to be awkward. We, when we're in this space, we just are. We're just completely ourselves, not concerned of the external. In essence, when we really think about that whole projection aspect, if people are if we're projecting onto someone else of what they think we are or what they're thinking about us, or however that's going in our mind, uh, we're really worried about what they think of us. We're concerned how we're received and their assumptions. And through that, we're trying to change ourselves to get some sort of validation, some sort of understanding, acceptance, to be received in a certain light. Through that process, we are the farthest from being in a place of authenticity. But yeah, we're excessive control. We're trying to control what people perceive us as. I don't even know where we're at now. Like, we are kind of all over the place. Death card here. Transitions. Through whether or not it made sense of what I was saying earlier, and this is something somebody wants to work on, but really analyzing that process of our thoughts, the projections, whether things coming in, what we're taking ownership of from others, or going out. This is a huge transition. It's a totally different way of viewing yourself and the interactions with anyone and everything around you. This is really having uh, understanding, but control, and not in a bad way. You're dissecting what would have been in charge of us for most of our lives, these thoughts, and what is true and what is not true. If I'm projecting outward, and it's in a negative sense, if we will, jealous, envious, even assuming, what is that connected to in here? And through that process, I dissect that, I rip it apart, and I navigate my way through it. We're going to be in a totally different world at that point. Maybe at times that made us feel, it was part of our identity. It made us feel some sort of way to be in that place. But through this, we're getting to the truth. Ace of Swords reversed. Clouded Judgment. This is underneath the Lovers, which is where I was kind of before referencing our negative aspects as we deem them and our positive aspects. It's going to be that push and pull through this transition. There was some sort of safety or stability we found in that process in our mind. And leaving that, we're going to be a bit confused of, do I even want to go down there at times? Because this shadow aspect, if we will, that has been calling the shots for most of our time, it wants to stay alive. And it's going to be putting some different thoughts in our mind than where we're trying to go, because it still wants to be there. It wants to be calling the shots. So we are going to be back and forth here for a bit, but it really comes down to, do you want to get to this space? Do you want to be here? Do you want to not have to try? And you just be you. And this energy it's just there. It's no questions. It is just there. One last card here. Three of Wands. Expansion. Look at this. Waiting for the boat. Waiting for the ride here. The ride out of here. This is underneath this charismatic, this energy. We're waiting through this process. We may be waiting for it to catch up. Obviously, through this transformation, we're going to a place. And in that space, we could assume or project that in the future, being in that space, that energy, that everything and anything that we ever wanted is going to flow to us. And it would, because we're just there. You're in that space. And maybe that's the reason of why, you're making an effort towards getting to that, understanding yourself, healing yourself a bit more, releasing things that have been holding you back. And uh, I don't have the original card here, but we can look out just as this guy is out there on the water, and I look at the ships coming in to take us to the next step. The fact that we may have placed an image or an outcome on this path, this journey, this healing experience, uh, we're waiting for it to look a certain way, and it's not gonna, because that assumption that we assumed that it was going to look came from that wounded space, if we will. We're in a healed space now. And to be honest, there and or on the original card, the boat's not there yet, and we don't know where we're going yet. So through this experience, we're actually in this more healed space, or fully healed, released, however we want to do it, reflecting this energy. And we have an opportunity to make a decision, a different decision of how it looks. And maybe we don't want to make a decision right yet. Now, I can't even fucking talk. I don't know what's going on here. Uh, but in this space, like I said, in the beginning, from the unhealed space, we assumed it was going to look like X, Y, or Z. And now we have healed, and we're still in this waiting space. And in that waiting space, we can change our view because we have a different outlook on everything now. Often we make these decisions throughout life from that wounded space. We're doing it for the wound, for the trauma, for the fear, for the worry, for the insecurity. I'm going to do this to keep it safe. And that's what I projected, outcome I wanted from that wounded space. It was going to feed that wound. It was going to keep it happy, keep it safe. But now it's gone. It's not in me anymore. It's not making decisions for me anymore. Now, this is why we have this opportunity to make a different decision from the new space. Uh, Sorry, I feel like I don't remember half of this. It was all over the place. I'll have to see what it looks like when I rewatch it. But if it resonated, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later. See ya.